Hey, everybody, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the basement. Welcome, basement dwellers. We've got a lot to cover in the world of silver and gold today. There is a ton going on. Shocking story. We'll talk about what happened last night, but also, have we discovered the missing link for silver and gold? And we very well may have a super special guest today, one of the fastest growing silver and gold YouTubers out there. This guy's offering a incredibly unique perspective on what's happening in the silver and gold bullion sectors. But let's get started right away with the shocking news from last night. But what does this mean? There's a couple hidden little factors in what happened last night with the debate debacle that have everything to do with the price of silver and gold. We're going to cover that. Let's go straight to the headlines and see what the mainstream media is reporting. Of all places, the New York Times, right? Traditionally a very liberal media, and this is not a political show. I'm reporting the facts, but I want to report to you what this could mean. There's some really surprising stuff embedded in what went on last night. But the New York Times says a fumbling performance and a panicking party. President Biden's shaky, halting debate performance has Democrats talking about replacing him on the ticket. Okay, the first thing I want to mention about this, guys, is are you shocked that so many people are shocked? And what does that tell us about the state, the general state of the United States population? To me, that tells me they are asleep. I mean, we've been talking about the diminished abilities, and most people kind of in our sphere have known that there's been some challenges. And again, I'm not, I'm actually in some regard, I respect Joe Biden at his age for trying to do what he's doing. But nonetheless, we knew this was the situation, right? But half the country is in shock this morning. Now, what does that have to do with silver and gold? I thought this morning. So tell me if you think I'm crazy. Some of my ideas are crazy, but I thought just like half the population is in shock at what went on with the debate last night, even more of the U.S. population will be in shock when they get the news at some point, right, in the coming months, years. It's got to happen by the end of the decade that the U.S. dollar is in big trouble. When gold and silver take off and everybody's like, oh my gosh, we should have known, it's like the same proportion of people that are just watching mainstream media, believing everything they see, just like with Joe Biden, right? I mean, if you watched CNN all the time, every day, you probably had no idea that there were some issues going on, right? But last night, under the lens of live television, he couldn't hide. Those same people who are watching CNN, and I'm not busting on CNN, MSNBC, and I guess you could maybe even say Fox News for that matter, they aren't getting the full story about the predicament, the dire situation that the country's in. They'll be shocked, just like a lot of people were shocked last night with the situation that unfolded. It's really kind of sad. But again, not a political show. I don't want to go down. The other big thing to consider, like I think a lot of the Trump is like, well, yeah, this is great. We won the debate. Okay. We're going to have some. I mean, we're hearing talk about a new candidate being named to replace Joe Biden. That's what the headlines. That's what the liberal media is even saying, that they're going to tell him, please don't run, please don't run. Think about the uncertainty inherent in that. And what do gold and silver love? They love uncertainty. So we guys can be heading into some very interesting times here in the next 5 months. Nobody knows who the Democratic candidate's going to be for president. Sure, right now it's supposedly Joe Biden, but apparently that could be, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty. In silver and gold, that's their job, right? They protect during times of uncertainty. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to tell you guys as well. We got the missing link. I guess I mentioned it, but there's even more going on in terms of that missing link that's really kind of, if you want to say, held back the price of silver and gold. We're going to get into that data as well. But we got a special guest today, guys. We have Mr. Pound of Gold. I'm going to bring him on. Let me do a brief introduction. He has a YouTube channel called Pound of Gold. Let me tell you what. Let's go out and I'll just show you that first so I don't forget. Here's his YouTube channel, Pound of Gold, and check this out. Look at these videos, right? California bans silver, no buying, no selling, 48,000 views. This guy's taking off like crazy. And there's only one reason that happens. That's because he's putting out great content. So let's see if I can work the technology here and bring on our friend. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. How you doing, Ron?
I'm doing great. Do I call you by your first name or do I call you Mr. Pound? What do you prefer?
Oh, you could just call me Pound of Gold.
Pound of gold. All right. Well, we have a pound of gold, right? I bet a lot of our viewers out there are sitting around with a pound of gold. So, hey, welcome to the basement. Like I told everyone, your content is taking off. What you're saying is resonating with the silver and gold community. So, welcome to the basement.
Oh, Ron, I don't know if I mentioned to you, Ron, but today is my birthday.
No.
Yes. This is you are experiencing my birthday wish right now.
Yeah.
Today, and in fact, last night, Mrs. Pound of Gold asked, what do I want to do for my birthday? And I told her my birthday is going to be finished by noon because this is it. I'm going to the basement. I'm hanging out with Ron. This is my birthday wish. We're doing it.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I know that last year on your birthday, when you blew out your candles, you said, boy, all I wish for is that I can be a guest on Ron's basement. So this year I'm going to request, and that came true. I'm going to request that when you blow out the candles that you ask for $3,200 gold, maybe $50 silver, if that's okay, Mr. Pound.
I will accept that.
Okay.
I'll accept that challenge. In fact.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Ron, because it's my birthday, and I'm so excited to be in the basement, I thought I'd start off strong, and I'm going to do a birthday giveaway for our viewers.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I have some silver here showing you on your screen. And for my birthday, I'm going to play my favorite game. Viewers of Pound of Gold know my favorite game is a game called Silver Tyrant. And this is how Silver Tyrant works. I'm just going to hold this silver here so you can see it because one of these coins is going to your house. This is my birthday giveaway, Pound of Gold's birthday giveaway. The game is Silver Tyrant, and it works like this. I, of course, am the tyrant. And the game goes as follows. I present a question to you. You send me a response through my email. My email is posted in the description of all my videos.
Okay.
So just go to any video. You'll see my email and description. You send me your answer there, and I'm the tyrant. I choose the answer because I'm looking for a lot of details that you're providing when you answer my question. So here's the question. I thought of this morning. I think this is a great birthday giveaway, Silver Tyrant question. I want you to tell me about the worst job you ever had. The worst job you ever had. I'll help you. I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
Mine is easy. Mine was actually, honestly, it was my first job. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. This is years ago. And as I relay this story, please, Mr. Dunkin' Donuts, please do not sue Ron's basement. We don't need any lawsuits. This is not slander. I'm just being honest. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, and it was the worst job for two reasons. First, I was young. I was 14. It was my first job. And my job was stated as a porter. That was the description. I was a porter. This is how long ago this was. I don't think they use the word porter anymore. And my job was literally, well, at first when I showed up, the manager there said, oh, you're going to sweep the floors, you're going to mop the floors, take out the trash, fine, whatever, I'm 14, I don't care. But really, my job was to go into the large ovens that they had and chase out the roaches. That's literally what I did. It was a summer. I spent the whole summer, and I didn't care because when you're 14, whatever, you're not disgusted by roaches or bugs. And that you would think, you might think that was the worst part of the job. No, the reason this is the worst part I think of this as my worst job is because it was just so boring. It was the first job where I was constantly, and our viewers know what this is like. When you have a job where there's no stimulation, you're literally watching the clock. It's just so painful. So that's the first time in my life where I was always looking at my watch. In fact, it was so frustrating that I started to not wear a watch because of it, because I was constantly thinking, oh my God, am I done? Am I done? Can I leave? So that's my worst. Ron, can I put you on the spot? Can you think of your worst? What's your worst job?
I worked at a cafeteria for 3 days in St. Louis at a mall. It was called Pope's Cafeteria. I think they're all out of business now. And I don't remember any roaches, but what I remember is my job was to take big giant bags of frozen vegetables and put them into these giant steam contraption machines to like heat them up. And my hands were constantly getting burnt. And I just
Huh.
remember like seeing so many of those stainless steel pans full of corn and green beans. And it smelled bad when I got home. I was covered in just from the steam, I guess, and from the fry cooking and all that. And I said, that's it. I can't take it. I'm done.
And
I'm done. Yeah.
and that was 3 days.
That was 3 days. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
this is when you were young.
I was 16. Yeah,
Yeah.
16 or 17
And
years old. Yep,
you know
yep.
the beauty and the painful of those years is that those are the years where you just quit. You don't say like, "Oh, I'll stay and work for 2 weeks." You just walk out
Right.
the door. You leave.
Yep, yep, yep.
So
So if
so
people
viewers,
go ahead.
viewers, please tell me your worship. I need see the reason this is called Silver Tyrant. I don't just give away this silver easily, and I'm a tyrant because I want to see details. I want to feel your pain. That's why I'm the tyrant. So when you send me your answer in my email, I want like paragraphs. I want that pain. I want to really live that experience you had. And again, you send me your answer via my email. I send one of these silver coins to your house. And oh, there's of course you need to be a subscriber of Pound of Gold, of course. Hit
There we
subscribe
go.
on Pound of Gold, and send me your answer. So, Ron, when I thought about my birthday today and me being in the basement, and now that I'm another year older, as you mentioned, I thought it would be appropriate for me to hand down some wisdom because I've been a silver stacker for a very long time,
Yeah, dude.
and I thought that really the most benefit that I could bring is to dole out some wisdom as a silver stacker of what I've learned through all this time, because it's not easy. You don't just like go and start buying silver and just close your eyes. What really got me into silver stacking, and this was really my greatest lesson. Oh, by the way, Ron, do not judge me when I tell this story. Don't do it. Don't judge me. I know you. So I'm going to be honest. I'm being honest. And this might give away my age a bit, but I'll go with it. I'll take the hint. My grandfather inherited in 1980. He inherited $2 million. This is true. This is the life of privilege, I guess, that I came from. He inherited $2 million in 1980, and really to understand this in our world of gold and silver, I don't know how quick you are on your feet with adjusting for inflation, Ron, but uh, if you could adjust $2 million in 1980 dollars, right,
Yeah.
to today, it would be really a large amount of money. And
It's probably, Mark, I'm sorry, Pound of Gold. What we can, the easy way we can figure it out is I know that the $50 all-time high that silver hit in 1980, a lot of people say that would have to be around 150 today. So I would imagine that 2
uh-huh.
million is probably worth, let's say, would be 6 million in today's dollars.
That actually sounds right, and that goes with my story perfectly. So, uh, another fact you need to know to understand this story is today, right now, 2024. If you were to win lotto, if you're going to win the lottery and just not work again, not only yourself. Let's say you're married, you have kids, your whole family. You just want to be set. You're not going to work, and you're middle aged, and you're just going to be done. So people have crunched the numbers, and they figured out the least amount that you need to win in order to just stop working and have a very comfortable life for the rest of your life is $10 million. It's a $10 million rule. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Yep.
So you need $10 million. Okay, so let's now 1980. Grandpa inherits 2 million, and as you just adjusted, it'll probably be around 6. So he felt like he was just done, and he actually was. He was 50 years old. He was about 50, 51 years old. So my grandfather inherits $2 million, and he stops working. He brings us. It was very nice. He brings us all to Europe. I remember this. We got on a plane. We went to London, Paris, and Rome. Very spoiled. Really great. I still remember all of it. And he then, when we, for the years after that, he would take me to coin shops, and that's of course where I got into rare coins because he sparked that interest in me. I was young. I was in like elementary school, And so I started like seeing all these old coins and getting really interested. He recently passed away. He was 93. And shortly before he passed away, probably about a month, he came to my home and he had a box with him, an old box, pretty pretty small, probably like a 4x4 box. And I knew there was some coins in there. I could hear coins in there, so I was very excited. And I remember I was busy. I had my own kids, and I was doing things that day. But I kept thinking, like, oh my gosh, like this is it. He inherited all this money. I'm getting the coins. This happened recently, so the time comes to it, and he gives me the box, and there was really, and I love my grandfather. Still, of course, I love my grandfather. In the box was just like junk silver. It's just some like junk silver. And there was one, in fact, there was one gold coin I got excited about. It looked like a $20 Liberty. And it turned out when I flipped it over, it was one of those coins that said copy on it. It was just a replica.
Right. Oh, wow.
So what this did though, was this really sparked it for some reason, it's kind of humorous for me because like he just had no idea. Or he just blew through every single penny. Because literally, honestly, that was my inheritance. Was that little box?
Right.
Like that was my inheritance. But really, what I did inherit, honestly, is I got really into coins, and this is the lesson that I can really give to all of our viewers, because now is the point where I get burned so badly, and everybody needs to learn this lesson. Every single person. If you're new to silver stacking, if you just stumbled into the basement and you have no idea what buying silver is like, you have no idea why we buy gold, why we buy silver, oh, you just want to feel like Scrooge McDuck and just have all this wealth in your hands, please learn this lesson that I went through, because this was the worst moment of me being burned. I mean, I'm talking about a lot of money. So okay, let's get back to it. I get that bug from my grandfather from Rare Coins, and I go in. Like, I spent a decade, and I'm buying rare coins. I'm putting a lot of money. I'm buying rare gold. And even though back in this time, this is honestly about 2 decades ago, gold was less expensive, but it's still expensive. It's still gold. So I accumulated a ton of 19th century silver, rare silver coins, and I'm following the market. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I look through, PCGS, these guides and NGC guides to make sure that my wealth is growing. And after 10 years, I decide to cash a portion of it out, and I go to a coin show, which was like a mid-sized coin show. Again, if you're new to silver stacking, if you're new to this world, every state, wherever you live, there's going to be a coin show a couple of times a year. And often it's in a hotel room where there's about a hotel hall, sorry, where there's about 50 tables to, 70 tables. That's like a mid-sized coin show. So I went to one of these, and there's just dealers all around, set up at tables, and they're waiting for somebody like me. I didn't know this at the time. They're waiting for somebody to show up with all of these rare silver coins, and just to get burned, really. So I went to the first table, and this guy lowballed me. I mean, lowballed me. I'm telling you, I had everything written out. I knew what the values were, and probably I gave me like half the value. And I went table to table, and every single dealer just completely lowballed me. And I spent,
wow.
I did not sell at that point, but I held on to a lot of it. But once in a while, I still go back with those rare coins to see if, like, if these price guides are really reputable. And no, that money that I put into those rare coins really is just, it has not moved at all. Now, after that, I got the silver bug, because I stopped. I stopped the rare coins, and I went all in on silver. I went all in on gold bullion. And lucky for me, when I did this, everything was much less expensive. Gold was way less expensive.
You bring up, and I often tell my viewers that, like, I have nothing against coin collecting and numismatic, buying rare silver coins, rare gold coins. I know absolutely almost nothing about it. And what I warn people is, it's okay, but make sure you know what you're doing, because I hear story after story, like you just described, where I think there's opportunity in that market and there's value available in that market, but you got to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you can easily get taken advantage of. Sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. It's really it's a strange market. It's very different from silver and gold bullion because the silver and gold bullion market is tied to all of these moving economic pieces that you talk about on in the basement and I talk about on Pound of Gold. It's all of these moving pieces. But the rare coin market is really based on the community of collectors. And that community
Yeah.
is aging. Many of them
Yeah.
are aging and dying. And it's changing. It's not going to go away. It's going to be there. But it shifts in a different way than silver and gold. And in that sense, my experience of being burned so badly, that it's way easier, in my experience, to swap my wealth into a metal that is a bullion metal and
Yeah.
just stick with the bullion rather than trying to have some kind of rare piece along with it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm gonna run out the Pimbex here real quick because I need to say thank you to my sponsor, but I want to point something out as well. Well, let's take a look. What do you say, Mark? Let's do an update on the gold and silver price. Well, gold's up still $2. Silver's up 35 cents, 29.31. I do
Nice.
want to. I do want to say thank you to my channel sponsor, Pimbex, Pimbex. Of course, you guys know that's where I buy my silver. You can get gold, silver, or platinum group metals at Pimbex. I find I always get the best price, great selection, and I can trust the company, but you need to find that out for yourself. You can check them out at Pimbex.com. But what I want to say about Pimbex, and this is true of all the right now, premiums are so low. I mean, like when I'm buying silver, I'm looking at something like even American Silver Eagles lately because the premiums are so low. But even like Krugerrands or Britannias are things that I've bought in the last couple of years because you can pick these coins up at like $3 over spot, $2 over spot sometimes. And then, and I figure, well, maybe at some point, like I bought some 2023 Britannias that have King Charles on them because I only made it for half the year. And I think, well, maybe at some point, because nobody liked that coin, that maybe it'll get some type of collector value. But whenever I buy silver, Mark, I'm buying it for the ounces of silver. I've got a bunch of Canadian coins that have developed that, disease, what's it called, clouding, milk spots,
Oh yeah, milk
and
spots.
I'm like, it's a bummer, but you know what, I didn't really buy it. I'm buying it for the weight, and when premiums do shoot up on all the sovereign coins, because I've had that happen, then I'll buy 10-ounce bars because I'm like, if I'm going to buy a generic form of silver, or I'll buy maybe 100-ounce bar or something like that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. There are some coins that are, I mean, I don't know if the word coin is correct, but there are some issues like this here that I'm holding in front of your screen. This technically it's an ounce. It's an ounce of silver, but I love the design, and I spent $100 for this. Just
Is that a
because
unicorn?
this is the Saint George and the Dragon.
Okay.
It's so it came out recently, but yeah,
Wow.
These days I rarely pick up anything that has a numismatic premium, right? Because it's technically, like you're saying, like you really want to just go for a bullion. And my experience being burned, I mean, it's really maybe like every 2 months I'll give in and I'll buy something that has some kind of value beyond the bullion.
Right.
But those numbers are great. What that you're saying about $2, $3 over spot for Pimbex. I mean, there's a lot of us in our silver stacking community. We don't have a local coin shop near us, and so we're buying online.
Yeah.
And you have to find a place that offers something close to spot and has some shipping deals with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not going to mention companies that are taking advantage of people, but there are a lot out there that are really charging a lot for just bullion silver.
I mean, look at this, and then just to draw our attention, you get on Pimbex right now, you can get 1-ounce South African Krugerrands as low as $31.58. Of course, that's if you buy 500 of them, but still, I mean, that is that's a little over $2 above spot. for a sovereign minted coin that could become collectible. I'm not saying, I'm not giving financial advice, but to me, if I'm going to buy silver right now, that's at least I get that little tiny bit of optionality attached to it that, you never know. This is a sovereign minted coin. And maybe 20, 30 years from now, it does have a bit of numismatic value. The other thing I want to point out is how lucky we are, Mark, here. I mean, really, $31.50 here in the United States to buy these sovereign minted coins. When you compare what other people in other countries, other regions of the world are paying for silver, I mean, number one, we can thank the COMEX for keeping the price kind of what a lot of people say is artificially low. But then on top of that, we're not paying a lot of taxes. And even, with a company like Pimbex, if you order $299 or more, you get free shipping. I mean, we're really spoiled right now in the United States from a stacking perspective.
Yeah, especially those prices for sovereign coins are great deals. Again, for people who are new to stacking silver, there's a difference between buying a silver round. There's a difference from buying a silver coin that is issued by any private company compared to a sovereign coin, because it's going to be more liquid, period. Even if we don't live in South Africa, we don't even, for maple leaves, those are sovereign coins. Like, they're going to be more liquid when you want to cash out. And this, again, I've had this experience also in terms of being burned. I remember in the beginning when I went straight into silver stacking, I was buying up a lot of these low end silver coins that were like Philadelphia Mint, or like just these issues that you would buy kind of on television.
Sure.
And then when I tried to flip those, I wouldn't get the same thing that I would get for Silver Eagles. So it does make a difference. Dealers, especially if you're selling to a dealer, which most of us are when we're trying to cash out in any way. Dealers, they want sovereign coins. They want something that they know on their end they could turn around and sell. That's just that's clearly how it works.
Yeah.
But Ron, I've had such a great time. But my Mrs. Pound of Gold does have birthday plans for me.
Okay.
She does.
Well, before you go, I'm going to run out to your channel one more time here. Show everybody. There's the channel, guys. Pound of Gold. And like he said, if you subscribe to his channel, watch one of his videos, his email address.
The email's down there. I'm holding these. One of these coins will be sent to your house. The Silver Tyrant wants details. I want all the details of your pain. That's how this Silver Tyrant works. Make the birthday boy happy and show me your pain.
There you go. Ron, all right, Mark. Our Pound of Gold. Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Well, there we have it. Pound of Gold. What a great guy. What a great growing channel, and great information about an area that, look, I don't know everything about everything. And a lot of you guys are into numismatic coins, which I think is great. And you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. I'm a silver stacker, but let's talk about what's going on out there right now. Some shocking data. Okay. The missing link, right? What's been the missing link? Sure. We've got gold. Let's go we forgot to do it. Let's go do a quick update on the gold and silver price and see where we're standing right now. Hold on. We're going to do an update. Yep. Gold's still up a tiny bit. Silver up 32 cents. I know that yesterday, so I was wrong. I promised you I would come back on here and tell you if I was wrong. Hold on here. I got to get some, here we go. Uh-oh. I'm kicking them out. See you later, Pound of Gold. Okay. I told you if I was wrong, I'd come up yesterday. I said there was a 33% chance that silver could be up by $1 today, right? And I think this morning it was actually up 80 cents at its peak at one point because of the PCE numbers. We're going to touch on that briefly, and then we're going to touch on the big missing link. But the PCE number, right? The Fed's preferred measure of inflation basically came in right where they were expecting it to be, right? Oh, imagine that, right? These numbers, don't they all seem to be coming in right around where they're expected to be? And hold on a second here. Yeah, here we go. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Where is it? Hello? Uh-oh. Hopefully the live stream's still here. Are we still here? Okay, we're still here. These numbers coming in right where expected. Okay. Inflation, it's all a bunch of noise, all a bunch of bunk. And, I really thought the inflation numbers were going to come in lower than expected. But think about this. As the economy slows down, as the economy continues to put the brakes on, right? People have less money. Do you have less money? Everybody I know has less money. It's okay. We all have less money. We go to the grocery store and we feel poor. Gosh, I wanted to, and wait till you hear what's going on with Walgreens. Everybody knows Walgreens, but I was at a 7-Eleven. My daughters, we were coming home from, I don't know, the trampoline park the other day, and they begged me for a Slurpee, and I can get Slurpees for $1. So I go into 7-Eleven, they're getting their Slurpee. I just kind of walked down the candy and chip aisle. I was shocked. I'm like, who's going to spend $3 on a little bag of peanut M&Ms? I mean, the prices. So what I'm getting at here is people don't have money. The prices are, I think we could see prices starting to potentially, one of two things is going to happen. They're going to liquidate the economy, prices are going to take off, or we're going to put the brakes on and kind of go into a depression where we could see, right, some deflation. But I'll tell you what, there's one thing the Fed hates, that is deflation. So this PCE number in this temporary, yeah, and I want to emphasize, because you're a silver and gold investor, and so am I, right? And we'd kind of gotten away. The Fed was kind of losing their mojo in terms of their impact on the silver. Silver and gold, they kind of decoupled. Had kind of like if you've ever raised a child, which I'm in the process of, but I would imagine this is how it works. At some point, when the child is 18 or 20 years old, they kind of sort of decouple from you, and you don't have as much sway over them. Actually, I'm feeling that already. My daughters are 12 years old. I don't have as much sway over them. But do you know what I mean? Maybe, this is a great analogy. The silver and gold price, right, kind of became like a teenager. Okay. Like and the parent is the Fed, right? And the silver and gold price were just starting, they're kind of breaking away, but they're still under the sphere of influence of the parent. The silver and gold are like a 15 or 16-year-old child or young adult that's starting to assert their own independence. And as time goes on, as that child gets older, right, gets to be 20, 22, they're going to be more and more independent from their parent, which will be, again, silver and gold, moving away from that sphere of influence that it's had over the silver and gold price. I mean, think back 10, 15 years ago. The Fed really had a big control over the silver and gold price, much more sway, right? Like when my daughters were 3 and 4 years old, I ruled their world. I don't rule their world anymore. It's kind of sad. If you've ever been through raising a child, everybody says this, right? Like at some point, like you're going to miss these days. You're going to miss these days when I'm pushing around a double stroller with twin 3-year-olds in it. And you know what? You do miss those days, but we aren't going to miss those days when it comes to silver and gold. And we got the missing link. This is big. This is huge on many, many levels. Like there's 4 things embedded in this, and it is the missing link that's kept the gold price from going much higher than it is right now, kept the silver price. I mean, if this missing link had been there over the last, let's say, 6 months, right, I think we could see gold at like $3,200. I think we would have silver right now at $50. What is that missing link? You're dying to know. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, and I even have a great piece of literary work from our friend Niels. Okay, Niels Christensen at Kitco wrote up this article, and we're going to go through it quickly, but it's got 3 or 4, maybe 5 big factors in it that explain the missing link of what we've been missing. Hold on here. All right, here we go, guys. Okay, I think you're still with me. Okay, here we go. The missing link: 29% of North American financial advisors to increase gold allocation through 2025. That's almost 1 in 3 are going to increase their gold allocation. That's from State Street and the World Gold Council. I got this in all different colors, and the different colors mean different things. Okay. So gold's done well this year. However, this is point number 1. The gains in the gold and silver price have come despite lackluster interest in the precious metal. Your neighbors don't care about if you're joining me from the United States. You guys joined, it was awesome yesterday from all over the world. And it's always a big deal when let me talk about you for a second. Hold on here. I forgot to tell you guys this. This is the most important part of the show. You are the most important part of Ron's Basement. Thank you for being here. And I mean that. Okay. We're a community. I hope you feel like you found yourself a little home away from home down here in the basement, because you are always welcome. Your thoughts matter. Your comments matter. Okay. You matter. So thank you. Please give this a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to the channel at any time. Now let's get back to this article. And I promise I'm going to stay on track. Nobody cares. And that's what I was saying yesterday. People joined from all over the world, but really in the Western world, which is where most of you are, nobody cares. And gold and silver have done well. Right? We'll take $29 silver. We'll take $2,300 gold. Think back a year from now. Think back a year from now. Think back to just February, where we had silver at $22 per ounce. Okay. Lackluster. But that's the missing link. That's the missing link. The only people in the world buying gold and silver right now as an investment are the Eastern central banks and the Eastern investors. And look what they've been able to accomplish without any help from not you and me, because we've been helping, but we're like 1 in 200 people, without any help from the American public. Okay. But is that changing? That's the question. Has it changed? Has the missing link, right, shown up that could really propel the price of the metals as we go through, let's say, the next 5 months, where we're also going to be facing all this political turmoil and uncertainty? The timing seems interesting now, doesn't it, guys? It says, however, new research shows that sentiment is starting to change as money managers and hedge funds begin to pay more attention to the precious metals, we'll say. Okay, this is a report from State Street Global Advisors in collaboration with the World Gold Council. It's their Gold Perceptions Survey. 29%, okay, sit down for this. That's almost 1 in 3. 29% of financial advisors in North America plan to increase, I highlighted that in orange, allocations to gold over the next 12 to 18 months. 1 in 3 increase their allocation. 62% say they're not going to change anything. That's what's in blue. In purple, we don't like the purple people. The purple people leaders, they say that they're going to decrease the amount of their assets. Nonetheless, guys, we got 30%, 29% of these advisors saying they're going to increase their allocations to gold. Okay, 62% stay the same. I think some of that 62% is not going to go down to that 9%, but it's going to go up to the 29% that says they're going to increase. The survey polled over 525 North American professional investors. Okay. Here's some interesting point in yellow. Milling Stanley said the key to gold's near-term potential remains tied to the Federal Reserve's monetary policy. However, he also noted that gold remains an attractive safe haven asset in a world gripped by economic uncertainty. Okay, so point number one, we got almost 1 in 3 advisors saying they're going to increase. Remember, financial advisors in this country generally hate gold and silver. Okay, 30% increase. Are going to increase. At the same time, despite the Fed's aggressive monetary policy stance, which supports higher bond yields and a stronger U.S. dollar, Milling Stanley noted that the survey shows investors are reluctant to give up their gold. Imagine that, guys. The investors don't want to give their gold away. I wonder why. Do you know why? They don't want to give their silver away. It says, quote, while this is see the green part, growing majority. Wait till you hear this. While interest rates are widely expected to be cut during the next 12 months, advisors' allocations to gold have remained fairly consistent, said Milling Stanley in the survey report. Quote, this suggests that a growing majority of advisors are using gold as a core asset for long-term investment horizons. I'll repeat it. I promise only one more time. Growing majority, which is where it shines in the context of a well-balanced, diversified portfolio. He didn't say a growing number. He didn't say some. No, he said a growing majority. So that means it was already a majority and now it's growing. Okay. Point number 2. All right. The survey also showed that gold is playing a much more active role in North American portfolios. This was crazy. Nearly 9 out of 10 advisors surveyed said they have some allocation in the precious metal. Okay. 9 out of 10, that's 90%. That's up from 69%. Okay. Which is 7 out of 10. Well, we'll give them a little, we'll round them up a little bit in 2018 and 76% in 2019. So the number of advisors that are saying they have some allocation in precious metal, gold they're referring to, but we'll lop silver in there, is growing. That's growing. Everywhere we look, what this report is showing us is that it is growing. And it's growing from a very small number, which is critical for us to understand, because it's a lot easier for a real small number, especially from a percentage perspective. If you're talking about 1%, it's a lot easier for 1% to grow to 5%, right, than it is for, let's say, 5% to grow to 25%. And I got good news for you, basement dwellers. We're starting at a low number. The survey also shows that while more investors are holding gold, their allocations have significant room to grow. Of those investing in this is interesting, the precious metal, 32% of respondents said they have less than 1% of total client assets in gold. So a third say it's less than 1%. 56% said they have between 1 and 5%. Okay, so that makes it very difficult to know. Is that 1.1%, 1.2%, or is it 3.3%? We'll go down the middle. Okay, and we'll say that let's say it's 2.5% of their clients' money. If you lop that, the 56 with the 32%, that's 90% basically, right? 88% of the advisors have less than 1. It's probably is 1.5, 2%. 80% of these advisors have like 1.5, 2, maybe a little over 2% net total of their clients' assets in gold and silver. So to me, this article, and thank you, Niels, over at Kitco for pointing this out, clearly shows, right, 2 things. Number 1, right, that the interest in silver and gold as an investment class is starting to percolate in the United States on a professional financial planning, financial advisor level, which is shocking. To me, that was absolutely shocking. And I think news that not enough people are covering. And doesn't that couple nicely with this idea that even the individual investors, right? We know what's going on with the Costco phenomena, right? That's picking up steam as well. I don't know, guys. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting run as we move through this, right? I mean, and a lot of you have been asking me to once again, and I'll do it, talk about what's going on in Japan. Guys, the Japanese yen is going down in value. I'll make it real simple for you. The Japanese yen is going, why, you may ask, is the Japanese yen going down in value? Because their government engaged in yield curve control. Well, what's yield curve control, you may ask? Well, that's when the Japanese central bank, now think about the United States when I'm talking about this, the Japanese central bank printed up make-believe paper, money, basically, unicorn fart dust, right? Turned on their printing press and bought, the central bank bought the debt of the country, which a lot of people think is going to happen here in the United States. And as a result, what we're seeing is the value of the Japanese yen, in very simple terms, go down the tubes. Look at this chart. And this demonstrates it very, very clearly. Okay, this is the 30-year silver price history in Japanese yen per ounce. 30 years. Okay, look, here's 2022. Okay, look at it now. Look at the price of silver in Japanese yen. It's almost darn near impossible that the United States does not fall into that exact same trap. Okay. Wow, guys, we got 450 people on a Friday morning. thank you for being here. Okay. I really appreciate it. Oh, wait a minute. I missed. Oh, wow. Don Howe, super chat. We got more to talk about, right? But I want to recognize the super chats. Don, thank you for the super chat. Super appreciated. Derek says, it will be the governor of California. Yeah, that's what people are saying. What's his name? Gavin Newsom could likely be the Democratic presidential candidate. We'll see how it plays out. I know one thing for sure. There's a lot of uncertainty. Don't forget, after what happened last night, guys, there's a lot of uncertainty out there as well. And Vincent, thank you, man. You guys are super generous. Goes a long way to help support the family, support the channel. So thank you. Okay. But there's a lot of uncertainty. Are we in the eye of the hurricane right now? Right. I mean, we don't even know who the Democratic presidential candidate is going to be. Think about that. I mean, and likely at this point, it's going to make it an even more contentious race if they get a more, let's say, robust candidate than President Biden. It could be an even more contentious situation. So we're going to keep a close eye on it. Is the economy crashing? I'll ask you that question. Right? Walgreens. Did you hear about Walgreens? This is interesting. Walgreens. All right. And here we go. From the Associated Press, Walgreens to take a hard look at underperforming stores, could shutter hundreds more. Gosh, I remember when I graduated from college in 1992. Okay. I got a great job. I worked for one of the big four accounting firms, but a couple of my classmates, people were having a hard time finding jobs. I guess there was a recession at the time in 92. Maybe you remember, but a couple of my guys I went to college with went to work for Walgreens in their store manager training program. And it was like the hottest job going at the time. Like, oh, you can make all this money and you can work your way up. They worked their tails off for like 2 or 3 years. Actually, they all quit. But the point is, Walgreens was like the hottest job, the hottest company going, right? So they take a hard look at underperforming. This is significant though, because think about how many Walgreens stores there are. Here we go. CEO Tim Wentworth told analysts Thursday morning that changes are imminent for about 25% of the company's stores, which he said were underperforming. The drugstore chain currently runs more than 8,600 stores in the United States. Wentworth said the company's plan could include the closing of a, quote, significant portion of those roughly 2,100 underperforming stores if they don't improve. That's like 25% of their stores, okay? Company leader said they've already closed 2,000. Wow. So that means overall the company runs about 12,000 stores. So if they've already closed 2,000 and they're going to close maybe another 2,000, excuse me, and only have about 8,000 left, they're going to have closed like 1 in 3 of their stores. Walgreens is like a staple in the United States, right? There's 2 of them around my house within a 5-mile radius, probably 3 of them. If I think about it, what is this telling us about what's going on in the economy, right? He says, quote, we're at a point where the current pharmacy model is not sustainable and the challenges in our operating environment, we approach the market differently. Yeah. Well, I think what he's telling us is that things are not all well within the U.S. economy. Oh, we got another super chat. Story time. Thank you. Hey, let's put up our banner so I can say thank you to all of our sponsors. And bear with me, guys. I'm trying not to disconnect you. There we go. Thank you, Story Time, for that super chat. Super, super appreciated. Let's go take a quick look at the silver price. I want to see. You never know what today could bring. We're up 32 cents, but we need to update this. Now we're up 31 cents. Gold's up $4. Gold, $2,330 per ounce. Silver, $29.27. What's wrong with us, basement dwellers? Is it just me, or do you feel it? Like it feels like the summer doldrums, right? I mean, it seems like it's been like a month. That seems like a year that nothing's really going on with the metals prices, the summer doldrums, and really maybe we need to kick ourselves in the butt, right? I'll kick myself in the butt a couple times and realize, right? We've got silver over $29 per ounce. We have gold over $2,300 per ounce. What's wrong with me? I need to find something to hit myself in the head with, right? Yeah. I mean, we're doing okay. And we need to remember this. I want to pull up one more time for you guys this chart that Bald Guy sent me, just as a reminder. What's happening right now is normal. Okay. Normal. If you look at June, the bottom shows the performance. So this is like over what, I don't know, 45-year period. June is usually a flat month for gold and silver for that matter as well. But boy, look how things pick up into the fall. All right. We've got a lot to look forward to as this year kind of plays out in front of us. All right. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be absolutely interesting. And remember, just to do a quick review, because a lot of people were moved by this. Remember how small and fragile the silver market is. Okay. We got some data that came out yesterday that says the COMEX registered inventory is going up. Right. And I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, but the COMEX registered inventory is going up. And there's these, we can say, theories going around that that's because they're being forced to make delivery on a lot of their contracts. People maybe are buying that silver, right? And what do you think they're doing? Well, they can go sell it in China for a little bit more money. So we're getting this news that the COMEX inventories are up, but there's always another angle, another layer to the story in terms of what's going on. But we got to remember how sensitive, right? How delicate, are you delicate? I'm delicate the silver market is. It is small. Okay. It is absolutely small. Remember, there's 160 million people in the United States that work and have jobs. Okay. 160 million just in the United States. If each one of those just bought 5 ounces of silver, it would wipe out the entire year's mining supply. It would wipe out all the silver that's mined, I think, throughout the whole world, right, over the course of a year. Just if everybody that has a job bought 5 ounces of silver. I mean, it's absolutely mind-numbing. The other critical thing I think that we need to remember when we talk about gold, right? This BRICS situation is developing. It's kind of got pushed off to the side, right? But these BRICS countries, the ones that are buying all the silver and buying all the gold right now, are gaining in popularity. There was a big hit. Did you see the big hit piece article out, right? Which didn't directly address silver and gold, but talked about the BRICS. And like, oh, the BRICS are, they're not really making any progress in their de-dollarization, blah, blah, blah. And I think, number one, it was from, I think, a Reuters article. I think that's a bunch of bunk, in my opinion, right? Because I've heard other people say that we could even have a gold-backed trade settlement currency. Some people, I'm not predicting this, are saying that it could be as soon as this fall. We'll see. There's a big BRICS meeting coming up in Russia here in the coming months. Right. And we know that Russia is not very fond of the United States of America right now. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. But think about this. Okay. Think about this. If the majority of the world's population, the majority of the world's countries that have the majority of the world's resources, oil, right, energy, minerals, all that good stuff, are binding together. Okay. Two big things to remember. Number one, 15 years ago, to say that the BRICS aren't a force to be reckoned with, I think is a big, big, big head in the sand mistake. Because think about 10 years ago, even, right? Nobody talked about the BRICS. They really were nothing at that point. Think about the progress that organization has made. Look, I'm not like this. I'm not being I'm just stating the facts. I'm not like Mr. Goldbug, Mr. Tinfoil Hat. I'm stating the facts. The BRICS as an organization has made massive strides, experienced massive growth in terms of and matured. So I mean, think about all that's happened in the last 10 years. So to say like, oh, they're nothing to worry, nothing to think about, don't worry about, I think is a big, big, big mistake. And we know that they put massive amounts of credence, of focus on real assets, right? And de-dollarization and silver and gold. Okay. Now, here's just this is just something for you to kick around between your ears a little bit. The United States at Fort Knox still has like the biggest gold reserve in the world, officially speaking, right? What is it? 8,000 metric tons, although it hasn't been audited for all these years, blah, 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 whatever. At some point, if, and I'm just saying if, and I don't want this stuff to happen, but we're just, like I said, guys, we're looking at the big picture here. If the BRICS countries continue to progress and become a power, and the value of gold and silver as a trade settlement mechanism continues to grow in vigor and strength, at some point it may behoove the U.S. government to in an effort to maintain our, let's say, position of strength in the world, it may very well behoove the United States government to revalue all that gold. Like if people are saying, and isn't that happening? No, we don't want dollars. We want gold and silver. And if that trend continues in the United States, is like, well, you know what, guys, we do have most of the world's more gold than anybody else in the world. The Europeans do too. They got a lot, right? And it's interesting because the European countries all have an amount of gold that generally is proportionate to the size of their economies when compared to one another. That's why you hear people talk about, in the Dutch, one of the Dutch central bankers said it a number of years ago, like you hear about this idea that even the European countries could go back to a gold-backed system. I mean, it might make sense at some point it's market forces, right? We've said it all the time, right? You can't beat the market forces. You can't beat Mother Nature. And gold and silver, all right, God's money, Mother Nature, we may find ourselves in a position where reluctantly in the United States, right? Because this guy, hold on a second. He hasn't made his daily appearance. You want me to open it? This guy, right? He hates silver and gold, right? He hates anything that will inhibit his ability to print endless amounts of money and force the world to recognize it as value, right? I mean, that's just the way the system works. But in the end, right, natural forces always prevail. You can't mess with market forces. You can't mess with Mother Nature for all that long. Eventually, those forces overwhelm. Now, we'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. Let's run out here real quick. I'm just a little obsessed today, so let's go out here. Let's go on a little trip together on the internet, guys. Make sure I got you on there and check one more time. Come on, silver and gold. Take your blood pressure medicines. Hey, we're moving in the right direction, guys. Maybe we should stay on longer. $29.31. Hey, we'll take that. That's good. Let's go check. This is interesting. This is from a guy called The Dude on X. Think about this when it comes to silver. He says there was over 550 million ounces of paper silver traded yesterday. When he's referring to yesterday, I think he's referring to Wednesday. And the COMEX had 3 deliveries. This is a legit market or rigged market, ? Why is silver the most manipulated asset on Earth? Wouldn't you want to own the most manipulated asset on Earth? Remember, 550 million ounces, right? I think the mining sector produces like 800 million ounces per year. Thank you to the dude. And he puts these out on a regular basis. A lot of days, the COMEX will trade close to 800 million or more, like the entire year's mining production traded in one day. Oh, and we got a big mistake that I think a lot of people are making. Maybe I'm making a mistake. But we're going to go out to the U.S. debt clock to look at something as well. People are always quoting this 400-to-1 paper to silver ratio, and I want to clarify something, and maybe we can learn this together. Here we go. This is Michael at Silver Squeeze. This is the COMEX registered. That's the silver that the COMEX holds that's available to settle contracts, and it is going up, guys. Look at this, right? Remember, and the one of the theories being floated is that that's because people are demanding delivery of the silver. So they're preparing for that. All right. All right. And some people are also saying that that might be tied into this, our good friend, the Oriental Ghost. I always call him the Shanghai Ghost. That's probably why he won't come on my show. The Oriental Ghost. But let's just take a quick look. This is last night. Silver still trading at a big premium. 32.54. What did we say silver was at? 29.31. So if my math is correct, that's what? No, that's $3.20. That's like 10%, almost exactly, right? That's silver on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, and the Shanghai, there's silver on the Shanghai Futures Exchange, 32.62. So it's an interesting scenario. Now let's go out to the U.S. debt clock. Bear with me. U.S. debt clock. And I want to show you guys where I think some people are making a mistake in terms of the silver. And maybe I'm making a mistake, right? I'm always quick to point out that I'm very good at making mistakes. So let's go over here and let's go down. Where is it? Wow. Oh my gosh. This really, hold on. Before we go to this, where's the paper to silver? Dollar to silver ratio. Where's the paper? Hold on here. Maybe it's down here. Here we go. This number is what we're going to investigate. But guys, this is breaking news. Dollar to silver ratio. This was like at what? This was like 150. Okay. Now remember, that is interesting. Very interesting. That is the year-over-year increase in the M2 money supply. So that's the new money. How much new money is printed on an annual basis at the current annual run rate for each 1 ounce of silver that's produced in the world? So that means for each 1 ounce of silver right now that's being produced in the world, there's $231, paper dollars, unicorn fart dust. So, you could kind of say, well, silver's underpriced. I wouldn't say that. But what about this number down here? The paper to silver ratio. I hear people say, oh, there's 400 paper ounces traded for each 1 ounce of silver that there is. I think that possibly there's a little bit of a mistake. Let me see if I can get that on the screen. I might be able to. Okay. Yeah. So again, at the upper, if you go up here where it says usdebtclock.org, when you hover over, like I'm doing with my yellow finger, you get a definition of what this is. So the paper to silver ratio, 400 to 1 right now, is the number of paper silver ounces traded on the major world silver exchanges divided by the actual world production of silver in ounces. Okay. Where I think people are messing up on that is, so that's the amount of silver produced every year, but they're not taking into account the amount of silver, we call it reserves is our new word, right? The above ground reserves, the above ground surplus that's out there. So but what it is basically saying is that for each 1 ounce of silver that's produced every year, just like in our previous example with the dollar to silver ratio, that there's 400 paper ounces. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's 400 paper electronic ounces for each ounce of silver that there is in the world, because there's a lot more silver in the world right now than what's coming out of the mine supply. Granted, it is decreasing, right? The reserves are being tapped, are being sucked out to meet the massive silver deficits that we have. But I think it could possibly be a little misleading to some people to say, oh, there's 400 ounces of paper silver traded for each 1 ounce. And that's true, 1 ounce that's produced every year, but you need to take into account that there's other silver including probably some of that silver that you have at your house as well. Okay. Hey, I hope everybody's doing great. Let's make sure we covered everything. There may be, we got Walgreens done. Yes, yes, yes. The PCE number, of course, came in right where expected today. We covered that. We had Mark on from pound of gold. This debate thing, I think we got to remember. Let's talk about this one last time. I'm shocked that people were shocked. Were you shocked at what happened last night? I mean, it was sad. Okay, I feel, and I do have, I feel bad about what happened last night on that debate stage. No doubt about it. And I do have a certain level. Any guy who's over 80 years old, anyone, right? And hey, look, but we're all heading in the same direction. That's willing to get up there and to try. Okay, and it kind of brought a tear to my eye. It was kind of a sad situation, but I wasn't shocked, right? Because we've talked about and we've examined, we don't just watch the mainstream media. What I was shocked is that so many people were shocked. And on top of that, I'm telling you, these are the same darn people who are going to be just as shocked when they're like, oh, my dollars aren't worth as much as they use. What? The dollar's in trouble. Oh, the national debt matters. Oh, I wish I'd bought some silver and gold. But you and me, right? We've already done that. Hey, guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for being the best part of Ron's Basement. It's really a privilege to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a great day. Be nice to yourself. Please support our sponsors, First Mining Gold and Fortuna Mining. You can learn about them at their respective websites, and Pimbex. If you want to get your hands on some silver, gold, or platinum group metals, check out Pimbex. Thank you. Okay. And I'll see you soon.